Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us again for part two of our talk with Jacob Goldsmith. Last time we had a fantastic discussion about his piece and Voices of Our Ancestors and a couple of his other photographs. And today we get the opportunity to learn much more about him.
Well, thank you, Marissa. As usual, we depend on you for your technical support. And Jacob, thank you for agreeing to come back so soon for a follow-up conversation. I'm going to do this a little different. Listeners will know that we've switched to a shorter, briefer format to concentrate on people that are participating in current exhibitions in the Circle Gallery. We talked to Jacob recently and found out that both his personal story as an artist and as a person is interesting and helps us understand his work. But his work goes far beyond the painting, the wonderful painting that we talked about mostly in our last session. We're not going to go back to the old format, which was much lengthier. We're just going to sort of zero in on who Jacob is as a man, as an artist, and then have him talk about some interesting things that he does that really surprised me and struck me when I learned about them. So let's go right to PowerPoint, where I want to share a little bit of Jacob's biography before we look at his work. Jacob was born in Bobo-Dioulasso, Haute Volta, now Burkina-Faso. He grew up in the Ivory Coast, where he actually studied auto and industrial mechanics before he moved to the U.S. In 2003. His passion for art began very early as a child and was encouraged by his parents. Today, he works in a number of different media, painting, photography, textile works that we're about to look at in more detail. His photographic style is both cinematic and impressionistic. His paintings are modern and explore the themes of beauty, love, and nature. Jacob, welcome to our follow-up talk. If you're a local Marylander, you might recognize the woman who is wearing this jacket created by Jacob. She is Dawn Moore, the First Lady of Maryland, and I think that her appearance is striking, of course, and it is enhanced and enhances the jacket. So, Jacob, tell us a little bit about this jacket that the First Lady of Maryland is wearing and how you started to be interested in textiles and this kind of work.
Thank you, Will, for the warm introduction, and thank you so much, Marissa, for setting up the World Talk. And I had the honor to meet with our First Lady, Mrs. Dawn Moore, last year during Artscape. And I made her this jacket, which is my best-selling artwork. It flies off the shelf like hot cake. I've been very fortunate. And it was such an honor to create this jacket for our First Lady. The jacket came to me as a means to innovate, to come up with something that would make me stand out. As a teenager, I was in a band, and writing music and performing was one of my things. And for us, as artists, we had to find a way to stand out. And clothing, dressing was a way for us to express ourselves. And when I became an artist, I wanted to create a piece that not only stood out, made me stand out as an artist, but also made my collectors, my clients stand out. Mm-hmm. It's a piece of artwork that can be worn to work. You can wear it to the office, and right after work, you can also wear the same jacket to happy hour. And from happy hour, you can head back home and hang it up on your wall. And voila, you have your art piece. So it's a very versatile piece of artwork. And again, one of my best-selling artwork. Such a great conversation starter. There's no one place I go or my clients go wearing this jacket where they don't make new friends, that'll get into great conversation. It is just, I have so much fun creating this jacket.
Well, this leads me to a number of questions. The first is, so you did not create this jacket for the First Lady. You created it and she saw it at Artscape and purchased it for herself. Is that correct?
It was a gift. At first, I thought about as a kid growing up in Cote d'Ivoire, when we will meet with dignitaries, we usually have flowers, a bouquet of flowers, or something of that sort. But as an artist, a meeting our First Lady for the very first time, I wanted her to have something to remember the event. Not only to remember me, but to remember the event. And instead of a flower, I spoke with my sibling. She said, Jacob, since you make art, why don't you create one of the most unique piece of art?
Yes, yes.
Instead of gifting us some flowers. And I color purple because purple became one of my favorite colors. And for everyone who knows Baltimore very well, purple is a very adored color here, and it's the color purple for our First Lady.
So now that it exists as something that the First Lady has in her possession, do you make identical jackets, sort of like an edition of prints or photographs that are identical to this one, so that others may also have them?
A great question, and that is one of my practices. And once a collector owns a jacket, a specific style of jacket, that is the only one in that category for the collector. And in the case of a First Lady, let's say if Mr. Westmore or Governor decide, by the way, Mr. Westmore, would you buy a jacket from me? And let's say Mr. Westmore decides to get a jacket, it will decide which color to get. And if you like to get a purple jacket, I can make a purple jacket in a man cut. And but I do not reproduce the same color of jacket. For example, the red jacket, there are technically only 2 red jackets of that same style. So they are each very unique pieces, unique and original pieces that do not get to be reproduced in mass quantity.
So one of the reasons that we do the Will Talks, of course, is to help more people know about the members of the MFA and their work, and you are a member. And so I hope that everybody that listens to this and is attracted to Jacob's work will have caught that little bit there, that they should contact him if they would like to have a personally designed jacket. And now a little different question also about your jackets, and this one. I know that in some African contemporary societies, young men dress very elegantly. And it's sort of to me from the outside and not knowing anything in depth about it, it's sort of like a social event on certain days, certain times. They gather together and present themselves in these very fashionable clothes. Are you familiar with what it is that I'm referring to?
Yes, I've heard of that culture, and I've read a little bit about it. And to be honest, I am not well versed in that culture, but I have seen work done around it. And I think, if my memory serves me well, it's in either Congo or the country that used to be Zaire.
Yes, that Congo is what I remember. And what I was getting at is the question as I'm an art historian also. It's honest and direct to say, you have come up with this idea of decorating these jackets and creating these jackets through your own evolution as an artist. And it's not directly related to any particular source of inspiration. It's just your interest in this kind of work and material.
And my work, every single piece of my work has been inspired by either other artists, painters, musicians, photographers, and even my clients. There's no one single piece of artwork that I've done that was, I would say, done in a vacuum. It's all done. My work is very collaborative. There's no one single piece I can think of that was solely done by me, unless I'm writing.
When I hear you say that, Jacob, and the little I know about your work, and only knowing a few of your works, seeing how diverse they are, would you say that your art and your nature as an artist, you've emphasized collaborative, but it's also very spontaneous and sort of constantly evolving and changing?
Absolutely. And I think art, can be intuitive and based on observations and being receptive to not only nature, but also everything around us.
I'm very interested in hearing you say that, and looking forward to your participation in other exhibitions and activities at the MFA, because clearly I'm going to be surprised. It's not that I now know who you are as an artist, but you're an evolving artist who offers a lot of possibilities for new adventures, if you will, as an artist. So let's do that here. This is a mixed media piece, Jacob, and the Golden Flute, the title seems fairly clear, but if you don't mind, just sort of breaking down the material that you've incorporated and how you came to create this vibrant piece.
The Golden Flute came from my love for music. And since last year, I've been creating painting around music. And most of the objects used for this mixed media are fun objects. For me, art does two things, maybe a little more. It gave me space to think. And for me, art has to make me think. And I think that that's one of my love and passion for abstract art, because there is no one single answer. When you look at a piece of art, it makes you think, just like the jacket. It makes you turn and look. And create a piece to do two things. The first one, to give me space to think. And the second one, to give me energy. Art not only has to be beautiful, but it has to give me energy. And I wanted to create a piece around music that will give me energy every time I look at it or sit right next to it.
I think that I appreciate you sharing that with us, because I think it helps me understand and articulate a little better my response, which was you have these intense blues and bright reds, and then you have the gold, both of the instrument and the areas, especially near the top of the composition, and it is full of energy, and it evokes a lot, in me at least, a lot of different emotions and thoughts. So is this typical of what you're doing at the moment, or is this sort of a more singular image? Just trying to help us all understand a little more what we might expect as we saw more of your work.
My artwork, my pieces around music are usually singular, and the object on them will be fun, either fun object or object I bought from thrift stores. And this is a singular piece. Will we see a piece like this in the future? Perhaps yes, because I love creating the unique. I love finding the unique. One of my collectors told me that once I buy a piece from you, I don't want anyone else to say to own that. I would like to be the only one to own that piece.
Okay.
And
yes,
that optic that I create most of my pieces. So this for now is a singular piece. I'll still create artwork around music, but this one is a singular piece. And at the moment, I am collaborating quite a bit with other artists because I think that together, when we come together, we can achieve quite a bit. And for now, it's a singular piece, but I'm open and receptive to what inspiration brings.
Just the way you sum that up, Jacob, makes me very hopeful that I will get to know you better and to see more of your work, because I feel like I will be constantly surprised and given something to enjoy and to think about. I want to again thank, of course, Marissa for her technical support, but Jacob, thank you for sharing more of your time and your work with us. And as I've said a couple of times, I very much look forward to getting to know you better, and you're seeing more of your work in our upcoming exhibitions, because I know I'm going to be surprised and pleased with what I see. So congratulations on what you have done, and thank you for joining with us at the MFA, and I hope to see you again soon.
Thank you so much, Will, and I look forward to getting to know you and your work. And I think your work is absolutely fantastic, especially that one piece where, with the boat in the water, and I think it's a green tube or cord setting. It's just beautiful. It's like, for me, it's like a note of music. It's like a sonata. It's beautiful. It's such a beautiful, calming piece. Makes me think. And
well, thank you very much. That's for me, a fairly old piece, but to tell you that, to be honest, that's sort of the way I thought of it, not as I made it, but as I saw what I had made later. That sort of musical note, if you will. So I think we have something in common, perhaps, as artists. And as I said, I look forward to see more of your work. Thanks again for joining us today.